High School, again the home of the FHSAA Boys and Girls Lacrosse Finals. And tonight, for the fourth straight year, Lake Highland Prep and St. Andrews will meet for the boys' title in the state of Florida. Good evening and welcome to Winter Garden, everybody. I'm Jeff Radcliffe. Thank you so very much for joining us for high school lacrosse, this championship edition on Bright House Sports Network. To my left, the former head coach of the UCF Knights, John Drehoff, and like I said, fourth straight year. These are the two teams that are always here, and the cream always rises to the top, doesn't it?
And they have fantastic cream on both teams. I mean, a proliferate of players that are just top-notch. All-Americans, both teams have about 4 All-Americans on them. And in the preliminary games getting here, we saw some of that action, and I'm sure we're going to see it again tonight. Yesterday
was semifinal day here at West Orange, and Lake Highland Prep started things off on the bright, sunshiny day and ended up taking out Ponte Vedra at 9-3 and did it with defense.
And defense was such a good job. They were very aggressive. They were coming forward on the ball. That was, all defense in a game. Offense, the other side, is making all the scoring. But when you get an aggressive team that comes out on it, that makes a difference. That made it difficult for Ponte Vedra to do anything offensively with Lake Highland coming out on it.
So 9-3 the final there. Devin Lewis, Billy Roll each with a couple of goals. That was early in the day when we had the sunshine. Then later on, then came the rain. A torrential downpour as the game between St. Andrews and Benjamin played out. It was tight in the early going, but St. Andrews pulled away late behind their key play on defense and in goal.
And I think both teams were just outstanding work. And the rain always affects sticks and makes it difficult to show their technique and be a real good player. But there are a couple players that the rain just didn't seem to stop.
Yeah. Connor Whipple scores 8 of the 14 goals, one of the All-Americans that John just mentioned. And speaking of players, there are no fewer than 9 All-Americans, 8 this year and 1 from a year ago, on the field tonight between these two teams, 4 aside. And we'll start with Lake Highland Prep's Devin Lewis, the midfielder, who's one of 2 Georgetown Hoyas playing in this game.
And Devin Lewis is one of those 6'1", 185 pounds. He's a senior, got a ton of goals under his name for this year. Going to be a heck of a midfielder for them. And they've both got guns all across the board, but this is a midfielder that's a terrific gun going.
His future teammate as a Hoya will be Connor Whipple, an All-American 2 times over, 93 goals in the heart of this St. Andrews team.
And Connor's one of those players that is just fantastic to watch. Yesterday he was just putting in goals left and right, kind of carried the team. I think the total was 8 goals, but 6 foot tall, 180 pounds, and very smooth with his stick.
So Whipple and Lewis ready to get things done for their respective teams. St. Andrews won this game last year 16-10, so Lake Highland Prep out for revenge. We've set it up for you. We'll meet the teams, have the starting lineups, and the first face-off in the Boys State Lacrosse Championship when we come back right after this.
The Bright House Sports Network Game of the Week is presented by Subway Restaurants. Right now at Subway Restaurants, get a 6-inch Black Forest ham sub for just $3. Subway, eat fresh.
Hey all you at home in the beautiful Sunshine State of Florida, my name's Jackson Bowen. I'm a senior defenseman for the Highlanders. In goal tonight we have Adam Sawicki. He's a stud, he'll stop everything. Defense.
What's going on, Florida? My name is Cole Borg, and I'm a defenseman senior for St. Andrews. And here's your starting lineup for the St. Andrews Scots.
Garden 2013 Boys Lacrosse Championship getting set for its first face-off. But before we do, we had a couple of guys from each team step up to the mic and give us their respective team starting lineups. Let's meet the teams now.
Hey all you at home in the beautiful Sunshine State, Florida. My name's Jackson Bone. I'm a senior defenseman for the Highlanders. In goal tonight, we have Adam Sawicki. He's a stud. He'll stop everything. Defense, we got Casey Mookie J. Irish, followed by me and big stud Danny Sinton. At midfield, we got Reed Thetford, Ryan R.J. Johnson, and D. Lou Devin Lewis. At attack, we got Billy Roll, Clay Phillips, and Kyle Richburg. Go Highlanders, let's get it.
What's going on, Florida? My name is Cole Borg, and I'm a defenseman senior for St. Andrews. And here's your starting lineup for the St. Andrews Scots. First, we got our goalie, sketch, Corey Echeverry. Next, at defense, Jake Vargas. Then, we got Michael Armour, also known as Marmer. Then, there's T. Lowndes, Thomas Lounsbury. After that's our midfielder, senior Andy Wheeler. After that's Grant Mauler. And then LSM Reed McCool. Lastly is our attack, Jake Levine, and Connor Whipple, and lastly, Stephen Reel. Go Scots.
And who says that defensemen are meant a few words? Thank you, gentlemen. We are underway. Our first face-off is won by Lake Highland Prep. At least initially, they come away with it, as Max Parker won the draw at the center. And Lake Highland Prep going left to right in the red jerseys tonight. St. Andrews, the Scots, the defending champs in white, defending the right side behind their All-American goalie, Corey Echeverry. We heard him called Sketch in the open. Jeff Radcliffe and John Drehoff back with you once again for this state championship affair. What are your keys to the game here for each side there, John?
Well, hey, possession is 9/10 of the game, and they're starting off right if they can win the face-off.
Unfortunately, a turnover by Lake Highland Prep, and first foray on offense now for the Scots, coming in at 20-3 on the season.
I believe that was a failure to advance, and they turned over the ball.
So here come St. Andrews. Connor Whipple cradles it in the left hand, guarded by Casey Irish behind the cage. This is Whipple. Flips it all the way back out. And Andy Wheeler, another All-American on this Scots team, shoots and scores, and St. Andrews strikes first.
And that was a terrific shot, right over the right-hand shoulder of the goalie. The goalie was screened a little bit by his own defenseman, but it's just right over his right shoulder. The camera doesn't even show that, but from here it was beautiful.
And Sawicki looking into the sun this time of night. How much of an effect could that have had on that goal?
I don't know. He's actually looking away from the sun. It's over the shoulder a little bit. So a sun is a factor, but I think it was the screen that did him in.
Another face-off won by Lake Highland Prep as they look to equalize here. Will Wolfson started things off, and now it will be cradled by Clay Phillips. He gives it up. And another midfielder will come on during the change, and it's Devin Lewis, who we talked about in our open. Lewis races in, the future Georgetown Hoya, over the right shoulder, and it's saved by Corey Echeverry. So 1-0 in favor of St. Andrews, and they stop Lake Highland on their first attempt.
And Corey made that look simple.
Quick reflexes is now held by Echeverry, gets it back from Lounsbury. Battle in the middle, won by Lake Highland. In the red, loose ball, scrum in the middle at the 45-yard line.
As long as they don't push, they can keep battling for the ball.
Max Parker, Billy Roll in there for Lake Highland Prep. Max Parker comes out and is shoved down, and it will come back to St. Andrews. A sea of red here at Raymond Screws Field on the campus of West Orange. Both teams red and black, and filling the stadium up nicely tonight.
And got a real quick check right there. Both teams are hustling at the goals right now. They're feeling each other out, looking for opportunities.
Stephen Reel started things off, and now R.J. Dawson Scots will look to increase the lead. Here's Jake Levine, an All-American last year. Boy, nice dodge to the left. Standing his ground, a shot and a score. Wheeler's got two, and the Scots have a 2-0 lead.
And even better than the dodge that he made was the heads up. He picked his head up and looked to the backside, had a guy call him for the ball, hit him, and the guy put it right in. Beautiful.
So Adam Sawicki beaten again, but great ball movement that time did him in, not necessarily just the shot.
Absolutely. The goalie's facing one way, and he's got to be able to come back to the other side of the goal on the other pipe for a backside shot. That's tough to do.
St. Andrews has yet to win a faceoff, yet they lead 2-0. A good stat as they've scored on both of their shots. And another win by Max Parker. Here's Devin Lewis. And he's guarded by Reed McCool.
They got a little good check on his stick, so he didn't get off much of a shot. But they still made it look real easy to save.
St. Andrews comes away. Mahler had it for a second. He is the face-off man. Also will stay in there. An all-around midfielder with that short stick. Gives it to Levine, number 15. He is checked quickly by Danny Sinton, one of the three-headed monster on defense for Lake Highland
Setting
Prep.
up a little outside, setting a pick. Didn't use the pick.
Levine gives it back to Mahler. Everybody in the center of the field right now. Nobody out on the wings.
They're trying to come really outside and isolate. Get one player and take him one-on-one.
Mahler was pushed off, and they'll retreat one more time. Nick Ranta. Wheeler looking for a third, has it taken away. Nice check by Lake Highland Prep. And running free is Sinton down the right side with that long pole, whips it in front. Shot rolls into the crease.
The defense did a good job collapsing on that player. He was wide open in the crease, going to get a shot, and three guys collapsed on him.
Richburg couldn't get a quality shot. Nicely defended by the Scots, and they're on offense again. Here's Whipple going behind to Stephen Rial. Another midfielder comes on for St. Andrews. They lead it 2-0, 7:15 to go. Opening quarter here, state championship 2013. Two familiar foes. Knocked down, nicely defended, but picked back up, a check, a clean one, and Lake Highlands countering the other way. Trucking was Devin Lewis, and Richburg can't pull it down, and Scots break away again.
Got a fast break going the other
unsettled.
way if he can pick it up.
It is picked up in the nick of time. Jake Vargas has got it, and everything will slow back down for the Scots.
Lacrosse is a lot of unsettled situations, and that's what you saw just now going both ways. Unsettled, going at the goal, lose the ball.
Rial whips it low, and that was no problem for Adam Sawicki, who makes his first save. They'll look to distribute now for the Highlanders. Got to get rid of it quickly. Took a shot from Rial, and a flag flies. See our referees tonight. Jody Tyser, Steve Luxon, Peter Del Vecchio, and along the sideline, Bob Prada.
He's calling a slash on the goalie.
Good call in your book?
Yeah, oh yeah, it was right there. It was done. The goalie slapped stick after the ball went out. It was a slash. So the backup goalie has to come in.
So St. Andrews with a 2-goal lead here will have possession. An exciting first couple of minutes. If you remember last year in a game won by Lake Highland Prep, or rather won by St. Andrews, it was Lake Highland Prep getting out to an early start and then kind of lost some steam as the champs fought back. And it'll be a man up now for St. Andrews. So a reversal of fortunes, if you will. Lake Highland now trailing. And they're in a spot now.
And Lake Highland's their top goalie, or the first choice starting goalie, is in the box right now, so their backup is in the goal.
So Alex Acuna, who started in this game last year in Port St. Lucie, Acuna will get a chance here in the championship game to stop the bleeding. Whipple whips it over to Rial.
And you see him move it around, and the defense gets smaller and smaller trying to stop the ball.
Keeping it inside that restraining box of the Scots. Whipped long off the post. Acuna stood his ground and picked up by Danny Sitton.
Now they still have to get it cleared because it's they don't have the extra man advantage. They got a man in the penalty box.
Couple of guys trying to check, and now shorthanded. Here come the Highlanders, doing a good job clearing the ball.
Now the Highlanders need to hold this ball and run out the penalty time because they want to get their guy back out of the penalty box. They don't want to be playing man down.
Don Eitzen doing a good job wasting some time. We will just take our time. Max Parker with it now. You see him, number 28. As the short stick of Wheeler comes out to guard him.
And it looks like the box is clear, so they're even now.
Ryan Johnson wearing 28, Parker 29. Lake Highland Prep in red, down by 2. Could use a goal here to snap back momentum. They played well defensively. Nice cut on the dodge right. And Wolfson couldn't get it to go. It should stay with Lake Highland if it goes out. Bill, a battle loose. Some big hits. And that one dislodges the ball. And a penalty being called on the Scots. And the penalty has been released now, and Sawicki will come back on for Acuna, who does not allow a goal on the other end.
A little bit from behind there, you can see.
So the whistle on Vargas, the All-American defender, and now man up for the Highlanders.
In lacrosse, you're allowed to check in the front 2/3 body, side to side in front. No pushing in the back.
See if the Highlanders can take advantage here. Lewis plays catch with Billy Roll wearing number 1. Wolfson now with it.
They really need to take advantage of this man-up situation and get a goal if they can. You see them move the ball around, getting it, trying to get it to the backside, make the defense shift, and
Billy
get
Roll loses the handle. Has defense all over him and managed to pick it up. Does a nice job to escape Thomas Lounsbury. Here's a grip and a rip, and a shot just wide by Devin Lewis. He went low. A worm burner.
And they backed it up nicely, so they keep the ball.
Lake Highland down 2-0, down to 4 minutes to play and change here in our first quarter. Pretty evenly played outside of the goals scored. Coming back out to the top. Wolfson now inside. Billy Roll had a couple of goals yesterday. Losing the handle momentarily. Lewis goes with a bounce shot. Can't beat Echeverry. Goes over his head.
And the box is getting ready to release, so they'll be even. Will not have had advantage of this, been able to take advantage of the man-up situation. And they're even.
Just in front of the crease. And penalty expires. A big hit just outside of the crease, and it will come back to St. Andrews. Richburg took a shot. So Lake Highland Prep could not take advantage of the man up. Keep in mind that stat later in the game.
Absolutely. Well, neither team has gotten advantage of the man up when they had it. So they haven't scored on man up yet.
St. Andrews on the strength of 2 goals by Andy Wheeler in the first couple of minutes. And a flag flies really high as the Gilman pass from Echeverry goes all the way to the other end.
Offsides. They must have had a guy up at the line. These fields where they're marked for football.
Confusing a little bit.
A little confusing. Sometimes the lacrosse players don't realize which line they're at, and they step over, and that's it.
These fantastic crowd on hand. Of course, Lake Highland Prep just a few miles away from the campus here at West Orange High School in Orange County. Last year, the Scots had the closer trip as they were in Port St. Lucie, not too far from Boca, where St. Andrews resides. These two teams have met for the championship 4 straight years, with the Scots winning 2 of the previous 3. The last time they played here, it was Lake Highland Prep coming out on top 11-10. And one of the more dramatic moments in Bright House Sports Network history.
I think they're getting a restart because one of the officials was not ready yet in the middle.
Ball to stay with St. Andrews. Play has resumed. Here's Connor Whipple. Up the very top. Real. Now to Whipple. The restraining line, Whipple again. Waiting for lanes to open up. It's tough against this defense. Casey Irish breaking things up, and Lake Highland Prep comes away. Some big hits.
And he makes it through four guys.
Back behind check, no good by Mahler, trying to be creative defensively. And give credit to Eidson to stand his ground and keep possession.
That was a very aggressive clear.
Devin Lewis will hold things up as another midi comes on for Chris Spalding's Highlanders.
Both teams look like they're still feeling each other out a little bit, even though St. Andrews has gotten 2 goals.
Thetford was guarded by the short stick of Mahler. Wing back. Mike apparently hit the deck on the field somewhere. Big shot, a rip, a score! Lake Highland Prep, Will Wolfson, and that cuts the lead in half 2-1.
And that was a terrific ripping shot. It looks like it's going to tear the back off the goal. The goalie just had no time, and it's offhand. The goalie's a right-hand goalie, and it goes over his left shoulder. Just hard, fast rip. Nice shot.
So Wolfson's 27th goal of the year, the second line midi, gets Lake Highland Prep on the board, and now Max Parker will win another faceoff as Mahler unable to contend with what was going on there. 2-1 our score, under 2 minutes to go, opening quarter. Really entertaining state final so far, as it always is between these two.
And a very low scoring game, between two powerhouses.
This is Wetzel now getting some time on the ball. Sends it back out to Ryan Johnson. And Johnson guarded by Brant Gulden. Take their time as we wind, 1:15 to go. Going behind the cage.
And the defender gets a really good stance to take the guy where he wants him if he can. Keep him outside.
Stick skills from both of these teams is off the charts when it comes to lacrosse in Florida, no doubt.
Not many dropped balls, that's for sure.
As Johnson cuts in, goes to the right and scores it. Johnson ties things up at 2.
That's a perfect example of getting the ball to the offside for a shot. It started out at top left and went across the goal to the right-hand side with a pass, and he had a shot in. The goalie had no time to react and turn.
Ryan Johnson, the 3-year starter, now has 21 goals this year, and he ties it up. And that got the crowd fired up in front of us. Face-off this time will go to the Scots. Now last year, if you remember, that was one stat that was dominated by St. Andrews.
And this year, it's this early in the game, it could be either team, although Lake Highland has been winning the faces. This time they didn't.
Here's Adam Levine. Now behind, and St. Andrews will look to use all the final 30 here in our first quarter. Comes all the way back out towards the center, picked up the last second by Ranta.
Well, they want to spread the defense out. You see them spread and move the ball. It's hard to defend or slide for a backup if you spread out.
Mahler nicely pushed away by Eidson. 7-on-7 now. Shot into the net of Sawicki, who went up high and took it out of the air, said, "That is mine." And we have come to the end of the first quarter, and as you might expect, it's competitive between Lake Highland Prep and St. Andrews, tied at 2-2. So goals from Wheeler, Wolfson, and Johnson. And that's where we're at the end of one. We'll be back with the second quarter right after this. A sea of red on a state championship Saturday night in Winter Garden, and it's Lake Highland and St. Andrews knotted up at 2 here at Raymond Screws Field. And you see R.J. Dawson in his 3rd season as the head coach. Was an assistant coach prior and won Assistant Coach of the Year honors. 60-7 his record as the head man of the St. Andrews Scots. Has a couple of state titles. Now Chris Spalding on the other end in his 6th season. Native of Horseheads, New York. Played at Salisbury University in Maryland. 109-24 his record. Not a bad winning percentage there. And we've switched sides. Another win by Max Parker as Lake Highland Prep now up 5-0 in the face-off stats. And they're going from right to left now in those red uniforms. We'll wait for a midi to get back on side.
Lake
Don
Highland,
Eitzen will start it up.
Lake Highland definitely has an advantage if they're winning the face-offs. The game is, who possesses the ball 90% of the time should win.
Remember,
St. Andrews is not letting that happen.
check that. It is 5-1 the face-off stat, still dominating. And we remember last year it was Kyle Clemenza, the Fogo for the Scots, who really took over the game in the second half as St. Andrews won the state title. Here is Lake Highland behind the net. Reed Thedford in there, and that will come back to St. Andrews on the turnover.
Wow, I'm not sure about that call. I thought it was actually off the
tipped. It was tipped,
It was off the defensive
our
stick.
referee overruled.
Overruled,
So
and they
good
got
call.
it correct. It stays with the offense because it was off the defensive stick.
So Billy Roll, the All-American, one of 4 on this team, cradles in that right hand. Guarded by one of the deep holes. Comes all the way back out to Ryan Johnson. Now Wolfson. Wolfson, big shot and a bounce shot, still in front of the crease, nicely picked up by Echeverry, who had nice reflexes there.
You had a defenseman actually just kicked it to him. So feet is a part of this game. You can use your feet.
On the other end, here is the Scots on the attack. Here's Bartzakis, number 9. He gives it up, and we'll go check out for another midi. And Mahler will get things going. Now we're behind the cage. Levine.
The Scots are settling down a little bit. They want to move the ball around and get goals as they need.
Levine had no part of Sinton. Well, deep holes for Lake Highland Prep. And our second quarter tied at 2. Comes all the way back out to the top.
Lake Highland likes to press out on the ball.
And Wolfson does the honors pressing out. Here's Mahler. Circles back, looking for somebody to feed to.
And there's good movement on both teams. Guys are trying to get open to be able to pass to, and they're getting good defensive coverage.
Mahler tries to dodge inside, able to do so, and puts it right at Sawicki off his chest. Still needs to be picked up, and Lake Highland Prep comes away. Boy, nice defense.
Gets knocked down and it comes back.
Lake Highland, a poor pass in the clearance attempt.
The defense got reset pretty quickly. That was good.
So a nice save by Sawicki, all for naught. Ranta gets things started now near side. Reel tries to cut to the right side. Goes low, circles back around.
Gets a little help. Second defenseman came on him.
Slide was made in time. Levine back out to the top. And Ranta. And Ranta guarded
Keeping
by
him
Devin
outside.
Lewis. On the right, Levine. Sinton on him. He shoots high and hard, but it's over the top. It will stay with the Scots.
That defenseman was doing a good job keeping his stick on the front of the guy, and then, of course, he rolled back and got a little bit of space and took the shot.
Whipple. 6 shots on goal now for St. Andrews. Whipple around the crease, checked by Casey Irish. Here's a long shot, deflected by Johnson, and here comes Devin Lewis turning on the Jets, crossing midfield.
St. Andrews is stopping the fast break. They got a guy in.
Into the restraining box, they find Roll, who doesn't miss by much, off the stick of Echeverry.
And Roll was wide open for a shot. He should have probably taken some steps toward the goal. Nobody in front of him. Take steps at the goal.
Just missed a few inches to the left. Prizer in there for Lake Highland wearing number 3 now, the midfielder. Or the attack man, rather.
Good body up defense. You notice as a guy drives toward the goal, the guy bodies up and sends him wide.
There's Wetzel. There's a second line in now for Coach Spalding. Bounce shot doesn't go. And picked up by Echeverry. No, and still flags fly.
We got a trip. Had a trip, and because the ball was touched the ground, the play stops. They enforce the penalty, the foul. There was a trip.
The tripping leads to a man up now for the Scots.
Push. They actually called it a push, not a trip.
So a trip might have been there, but the push is what they saw.
Right.
So we'll take the ball to the other side. So no scoring yet here in our second quarter. St. Andrews started with 2 goals off the cross of Andy Wheeler. Then Will Wolfson and Ryan Johnson tied things up late in the opening quarter. And that's where we stand.
And now St. Andrews is going to try their man up play.
Rial at the top. Now he cuts through as the ball stays back in Whipple's cross, the All-American. Mahler gets a touch, so does Wheeler, another All-American. Not just some of the best players in the state, but in the country in this game. Boy, Florida lacrosse has come a long way.
And very good ball movement. The defense is also sliding well, making it hard for the offense to get a shot.
Nice pass and off the woodwork that time. Lake Highland closest to it, and they've got it. Nice defensive stop on the man down. You heard the rattle of the cage up there, John.
They played great defense to be man down all the way through, and the goalie made the save, the stop, and then the defensive man beat it with the ball that was going out of bounds, so they kept possession.
Man up expires in the time being. And we're at full strength both sides.
And Lake Highland gets to clear the ball because they hustled out.
Sawicki will come all the way out.
Nice, easy clear.
Now, one thing we haven't talked about is the quality of the goalies in this one. Is we talked to R.J. Dawson last night. We've got the best 2 goalies in the state here tonight, as it should be in the state championship. Bright House Sports Network is your home for high school sports. We're the only channel where you can get exclusive coverage of regular, postseason, and championship games. Bright House Network's the only way to watch Bright House Sports Network. See our compound. That's what it takes to put a game on. All those vehicles and all this technology that is way above my pay grade. And we got the crew to operate it, which is the most important part.
And they do a great job and make us look good.
Chris Spalding doing the best to make his Highlanders look good the last couple of seasons. Been the top team in Central Florida for the better part of the last 3 or 4 years. Currently ranked 91st in the nation by Lax Power and have not lost to a Central Florida school since 2009. Their losses this season came to Jupiter, St. Andrews, who beat them 10-5 in a game we haven't talked about yet that was awfully close, even though the scoreline was 5 goals. It was tied at halftime in a goalkeeper battle and a couple of breakaways late and then a couple empty netters for St. Andrews to win that. Both teams played boys Latin and gave a good account of themselves, and Benjamin School and Calvert Hall, the other 2 losses for Lake Highland. And here the Scots ranked 77th in the nation. They've got just 3 losses. They've come to McDonough of Maryland, boys Latin, the number 1 team in the country, and Timon St. June of New York. So
and when you talk about
they play
boys
national
Latin,
schedules.
Oh yeah, when you talk about playing boys in Latin, you're talking about a northeastern team that when they were born, they got a lacrosse stick instead of a pacifier.
Well, one of the advantages of playing lacrosse in Florida is that you can get these teams to come down here from New York and Baltimore because they're in their early season and the weather's nice. They get a nice little vacation out of it. You and I were about a month ago. We're at the Jesuit Lacrosse Classic. We saw some teams from New York enjoy the Florida weather. A big shot and bounces past the end line.
It's not hard to attract them down here into the sun.
Here's Billy Roll, runs inside of Echeverry, shoots and scores. And Roll gives Lake Highland Prep their first lead. It's 3-2.
And that was a great attack on the pipe from behind. Left-hand shot, puts it in the offhand side of the goal. Just coming around the pipe, you see him drive hard, come in, nobody's in front of him. Good left-hand shot.
Billy Roll's 56th goal of the season. It comes in a good spot, and for the first time tonight, the Highlanders have the lead. You see the speed he's got. Now Roll, maybe an All-American, but he's decided, I'm just going to go to college, be a student. I've done my time, and he certainly has earned that right.
Well, you know what they say, lacrosse won't pay the bills.
Another face-off win for Max Parker and company. Nice check and a kick forward. Who can make the pickup? Stick hit the head, no call. And
Whipple's carrying.
Despite losing the face-off, they're able to get the ball back in their cross. Whipple with it and whips it behind. Mahler. Now check that. Levine saw the 5, not the 1-5. Levine has it and no room to work. Switches made on defense, long pole on him. Trying to get it over that shoulder.
And doubled. Both teams' defenses are doing really well.
Lake Highland has scored 3 unanswered. Scots trying to answer themselves. And a timeout, the call from the sideline with 5:45 here in our second quarter. So Andy Wheeler got things started for St. Andrews, scored a couple of goals, and now here in our 2013 Boys Lacrosse State Final, Lake Highland Prep leads it on the strength of 3 straight goals, one by Wolfson, one by Johnson, one by Billy Roll. Let's take a look at what happened and what transpired last year in the 2012 Boys Lacrosse Championship. This was in Port St. Lucie. We saw a good one last year there too, Coach.
Absolutely.
Connor Whipple.
And the battle came right up to the last minutes for a win.
16-10 the final. It was back and forth for the better part of a half. As a matter of fact, Lake Highland got out to a big lead, but it was all St. Andrews in the second half. And when you talk with Coach Spalding about that, we had a semifinal the day before. He said that we had to come back from 5 goals down late in the half, and that took everything out of our sails. The next night we just had nothing left, but didn't make that mistake this year as they took care of Ponte Vedra 9-3, got up quick and stayed on top and won it with defense. And so they're well rested, played the early game yesterday, and if you're St. Andrews, you played late last night in the rain. How does that affect things?
Absolutely. It's going to make a fatigue factor on St. Andrews being up late and playing in the rain, etc. So Lake Highland does have a little advantage, but both of these teams are packed with such skilled players, I can't see that it's going to be a big thing.
We're at West Orange High School, site of the Highlanders state championship 2 years ago when they won 11-10 against these Scots. Only time the Scots have lost it. And Levine gets checked, comes back around the right. Nice defense by Farwell.
Whipple sets a pick, but it's a moving pick. You cannot move your feet.
Fires up the Highlanders and their crowd, which is in full force here tonight.
Whipple tries to make a pick, and he leans into the guy. That's a moving pick.
Gilman pass all the way to right side, nicely caught by Johnson. Ryan Johnson, the 3-year senior starter, whips it back out to the top. Wolfson, he shoots, and a nice save made by Echeverry. Ball still loose in front. Players hit the deck, and a foul is upcoming.
Got to push.
For a push on the Scots. Let's see how this happened. Boy, big stick.
Loose ball push. Doesn't put anybody in the penalty box, just gives possession back to the other team.
Lake Highland, 1-goal lead. Johnson gets checked by the short stick of Reed McCool. Reed McCool, Reed McCool, the long stick man.
And a great check because it was from low and it was a poking lift check. It wasn't just a down check.
Devin Lewis on a nice pick from Roll. Of course, that wasn't moving. It was good. And it will stay with Lake Highland.
He tried to make
reversed it.
Tried to make it far enough around the pipe to get a good shot, but he wasn't high enough. up past the plane of the goal to make that shot. Easy clear.
Scott's now on offense. Wheeler has both of the St. Andrews goals. Now Whipple tries to beat Irish. All-American on All-American. Future Georgetown Hoya up against the future Boston University Terrier. Now back up top. Maranta. Short stick guards him. Will Wolfson.
Both teams have their defenses push out on the players. Every time a player touches the ball, the defensive player comes out on him.
Keith Mahler made a nice dodge, but Slide was there to help. Here's Whipple.
No shot.
Goes around right. Irish.
Doesn't give him any space.
Escorts him away. Not in his house. Irish, that one going low to high and way off the mark up top, but it will stay with the Scots. We're down to 3:20 in the opening half. Here's Levine. He cuts inside. The inside roll doesn't work. Comes back out to Mahler.
Whipple and Levine are both testing the pipe pretty well, and that defense is turning them back every time.
Real turns that on the left side of his hand.
One-on-one coming up.
Eidson guards him. Cuts to the right. Nice roll. Great move. To find space.
That's outside.
Hit the outside of the net. Ball still in action. And a flag flies. Got the crowd fired up again.
Got to push. If it was with possession, well, there'll be a guy in the box. There's the ball loose.
Now,
it's possession. Goal. There you go. It's possession. They're going to have to go man down.
St. Andrews on the man up. Irish and his defensive brethren now have to do some work.
It's sometimes hard for those defensemen to not push, and it just happens.
So man down defense in effect for Lake Highland. Scott's trying to equalize here late in the second quarter. Whipple. Back up top. Will he try it from distance? No. Too smart for that.
And Highland is still sliding.
In front. Boy, bounce shot didn't miss by much.
Yep, right on top of the goal. And that's what they're trying to do, is get an open player and hopefully on top of the goal. But you notice the defense is also pushing out, which is difficult to do when you're man down.
Keith Mahler had the shot that bounced over the top. And Whipple thinks about it. Boy, man out him on the point quickly. This time makes some space. Again, trying to go low to beat Sawicki. A bounce is way too high. Perhaps not used to the artificial turf bounce.
And they're back even.
So even strength as the Highlanders kill off the penalty with 2 minutes and 1 second left on the halftime clock. And a timeout has been called by Chris Spalding to talk over this last 2 minutes and change. Bright House Sports Network is your home for high school sports, and each week we honor a student that excels on and off the field. You can meet the BHSN Athletes of the Week by logging on to BHSN.com. Those are our fans of the week, no doubt. In full regalia, the Highlanders
we definitely
got the whole school out here.
Definitely have a sea of red in front of us.
Not sure where the Lake Highland fan section and the St. Andrews fan section begins, or one begins and one ends, because the same color scheme goes for both schools, the red, black, and white. R.J. Dawson talking things over as well with his Scots. St. Andrews got here by beating Wellington, Pinecrest, Columbus Catholic, and then Benjamin in the semis yesterday. So not really challenged at all. Some lower scores for Lake Highland Prep as they beat West Orange 20-2. That was a big score. Lake Brantley was tight 7-4, so was Haggerty 8-4, and then Ponte Vedra 9-3 yesterday. The common denominator in all that, Adam Sawicki, the goalie.
Absolutely. Both goalies for these teams have shown fantastic display of abilities in the goal.
The ball is ready for play. Looking for fireworks here in our waning moments of the second quarter here at West Orange High School. Mahler. See if the Scots have drawn something different up. Boy, great. Got a stick in the air, and it's stolen away, unsettled.
Fast break.
They whip it over the roll, loses the handle. Going to be a race. Still loose and picked up off on the bounce.
Nice check.
And coolly coming away was Andy Wheeler. He's along the near side. Spin moves. That gets some oohs and ahs in the crowd.
With three guys on him, he worked his way out of that trouble.
Jacob Brantley head went one way and stuck his foot in the turf and went the other. So down to 1:10 to go, opening half. St. Andrews down a goal. Grant Mahler and the crease, a shot and a score. Cody Whipple's on the board, and we're even at 3.
And Whipple did a terrific job of getting open, and after catching the ball, he goes underneath his defenseman and steps to the crease and puts it in the back corner. Just an outstanding play.
Whipple's 96th goal of the season.
He's definitely got a very good sense of where he is on the field, knows how to step in front of the goal and get a shot.
Another face-off win by Parker. He'll send it all the way back to Sawicki in goal. And the Scots will gladly have that, have him move back off the face-off win. Possession, Lake Island Prep. Behind, Clay Phillips. Check that Rich Borg now, number 7. Boy, nice move to cut inside as his defender overran it.
And getting down
to 30 seconds.
30 seconds. There's still time to get a score in here.
Billy Roll slips to the turf, gets right back up, comes back out. Devin Lewis, see what he can do with 20 seconds on the clock. On the right, he slips and has the ball taken away. 15 seconds left. Here come the Scots.
Long
right
pole.
Down the middle, the deep hole, shoots and scores! And St. Andrews is up by 1.
And you got to know that with that score, that long pole shooting on the goal, there's a distinct disadvantage on the goalie. He's used to short sticks shooting overhand, and when you get a long pole coming in, it's a completely different angle. It's coming up very high, and he did a great job of going high to low, makes it difficult.
Reed McCool, how about this? Your first goal of the season, that's a heck of a spot, and it's now 4-3 as St. Andrews has scored 2 unanswered to take the lead with 6 seconds left. A face-off win by St. Andrews. It will roll, and that's where we end the first half. So a well-played game on both sides. But St. Andrews turned up the wick there in the last few minutes of the second quarter, and they lead it 4-3 at the half over Lake Highland Prep. It's the 2013 Boys Lacrosse Championship game live on Bright House Sports Network. We'll come back with the highlights and the stats and a little bit more when we're back to Winter Garden right after this.
The Bright House Sports Network Game of the Week is presented by Subway Restaurants. Right now at Subway Restaurants, get a 6-inch Black Forest ham sub for just $3. Subway, eat fresh.
It's been a thrilling first half. St. Andrews leading Lake Highland Prep 4-3 here at the 2013 Boys State Lacrosse Championship. Jeff Radcliffe alongside John Drehoff and the rest of our Bright House Sports Network crew bringing you all the action. But the lacrosse doesn't end tonight. The 2013 Brine National Lacrosse Classic is not too far off. They'll be holding the region tryouts for high school boys and girls throughout the next couple of weeks. In fact, be over in Tampa tomorrow at the University of Tampa for the first set of tryouts. They're back here Wednesday at West Orange for more boys tryouts here in Central Florida. The girls will come to Dr. Phillips Community Park on the 11th next week, so we'll cover all those tryouts for you. Now, the top players from those tryouts will be selected for the Pride of Florida High School Lacrosse Showcase, which will be televised by Bright House Sports Network. And from there, the top players will be selected for the national game in Maryland. If you'd like to register, visit the website you see on the screen, www.nationallacrosseclassic.com. And John, plenty of good players to pick from, particularly from this game. You've got so many national-type players, but even in Tampa and some of these tryouts in Boca Raton, we'll see a lot of good players that have a chance to make it nationally.
Absolutely, and Florida being a hotbed of lacrosse, being year-round, got a lot of players out there that have practiced and played, and this will be a very good venue for them to go to and show off their abilities to hopefully be selected to a national team, and then they'll go compete in some summer tournaments.
So the bottom line, the lacrosse season doesn't end tonight, which is always nice for guys like us who love the sport. Right now it's St. Andrews leading Lake Highland 4-3 at the half. We hope for a bang-bang second half. And so are the fans. We'll be right back with highlights after this. We're back in Winter Garden with over 1,000 of our best friends here on Bright House Sports Network. St. Andrews leading Lake Highland Prep 4-3 as we get closer and closer to the second half. Let's take a look, John, at how that first half transpired. It was physical play that started things out, and we expect that from these two teams.
Absolutely. They're both hard fighting teams with good offense and good defense. Just as an example of how hard they're playing, both teams have had two penalties each, and the man-up offense has not been able to score. in both those instances. So Lake Highland hasn't been able to take advantage, and neither has St. Andrews when they're man up.
Andy Wheeler scored for St. Andrews, and it was Wolfson, Johnson, and Roll. 3 unanswered for Lake Highland. And then just before half, Cody Whipple there, and then Reed McCool. Cool as a cucumber with the long pole, scores his first goal of the season, and that gives his team the 4-3 lead. Look at our first half stats. Shots close to even as St. Andrews up by 1. Face-offs dominated right now by Lake Highland Prep, but you would think that would lead to a better score line for them. It has not so far. Penalties even at 2 apiece.
Well, possession is 9/10 of the game, so winning the face-offs is really good. But these two teams are so talented that they're battling each other right down to the wire.
Well, we've got a number of future famous players. Question is, who is that famous player warming up at halftime? We'll tell you who he is when we come back. Back in Winter Garden, ready for the second half between these two old rivals. St. Andrews leading it by 1 over the Highlanders. And there's the answer to our question we posed before the break. You're basically looking at the Michael Jordan, the Gordie Howe, the Mickey Mantle, or maybe the Jim Brown of lacrosse. And Jim Brown's appropriate, the former Syracuse Orange, who also played lacrosse. Casey Powell, one of the best ever to suit up, won some national championships. Of course, he's a very accomplished professional lacrosse player, the first family of lacrosse, if you will, and he is their director of lacrosse for St. Andrews.
He's on the program. He helps St. Andrews with their stuff. Every coach would love to have that.
Made the number 22 famous, he and his brothers, as did Gary Gate for Syracuse. What's that do for a program? And heck, for a team playing them to know he's sitting there watching you.
Well, at this point in the game, they're too focused on the game, but he's definitely an advantage to have on that sideline. And Lake Highlands won another face-off.
So 8-2. Let's see if they can turn this into an equalizing goal here. Max Parker has been large and in charge. He just needs his teammates to turn those opportunities.
Used to say if you owned the ball 70% of the time, you were going to win the game. That's not necessarily true when these two teams are such good, hard-fought rivals.
Ryan Johnson will start things up here. Bright House Sports is your home for high school sports. Check out our photo gallery of snapshot moments from various high school sporting events each week in our new Varsity Spotlight by logging on to bhsn.com. Ryan Johnson Guarded by one of the deep holes. He'll truck all the way back outside of the restraining area. And being guarded by McCool, has it taken away. McCool, the goal scorer and the thief on that play.
And a little bit of a fast break.
Unsettled ball. Player tripped up. Comes back out to the point. Adam Levine, long pole guarding him.
They settle it down, and they're going to move it around and look for something good offensive, bringing in a new midfielder from the box.
Our side was Mahler. Take it right back. Switch to the other side. Perhaps. Making the dodge right is Mahler. Mahler into the crease and puts his team up by 2. Big goal by Mahler, his first of the match.
And that was all individual effort. You notice he drove hard on his defenseman, and then he steps inside of him and comes across to the front of the goal. Does a left-hand shot and places it in. Drive, 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 step in front, and left-hand shot puts it away in the back. Nicely done.
So Mahler, his 17th goal of the season. Check that, 24. And the stick was held there. Flag and a delayed penalty coming, so good chance for Lake Highland Prep now. See if they can get a quality shot. Just don't turn it over.
Lake Highland still winning the faceoffs.
Yet they trail by 2. Devin Lewis rips it low. They will stay with the Highlanders, and now they'll be a man up. Or not. Saw the flag fly, but apparently it was waved off. And Billy Roll behind the cage. 3 unanswered goals now by the Scots, spanning the second and third quarters. As Lake Highland has cooled off a bit, Billy Roll had their last goal. Devin Lewis, boy, checked by 2 and draws a foul. Flag in the air this time, and should be a man-up situation. Absolutely. Momentarily.
Absolutely not, and it won't be imposed until the ball touches the ground or goes in the goal.
So Billy Roll whips around, scores it over Etcheverry. Billy Roll, his second goal, and the Highlanders are within 1.
And that was a good drive attack on the pipe. He pushes hard on the pipe, gets a step on his man, and puts a good bounce shot in. Good placement, bounce in that upper corner. Good job.
Roll has 2, his 57th of the season. And now on the man up. Very advantageous if you've been winning it in the face-off area.
But let's remember, both teams have had 2 opportunities at man up, and neither one has scored so far.
All important face-off in the center. Max Parker flicks it to a teammate. Johnson's got it.
And here comes Lake Highland, man up.
Use the time wisely. Devin Lewis gives it to Roll, who's now at the top.
They're not in too big a hurry. They got a full minute with a guy in the box.
Richborg's got it near side. Opts to go back to Roll instead of Phillips on the other side. Lewis. Roll thought about it, wisely passed it up. Richborg now from distance. Going low and deflected and out by Etcheverry. Lake Highland will keep it on the shot off of Devin Lewis.
And Lake Highland's doing a good job of moving the ball around, getting the defense to collapse, and then they get a close-in shot. You watch, they move it around, and the defense gets smaller and smaller, collapsing in, and then they get a shot.
Devin Lewis. Wolfson. There's Lewis, will he try it again? Gives it back up, collected calmly.
Even
strength. So still nobody has scored on the man advantage. Devin Lewis shoots off to the right. Lake Highland Prep ball. Lewis still trying to crack the scoring column. Had 2 goals in yesterday's semis.
That says a lot for the defense when you can hold out being man down and the other team cannot score.
5-4, a one-goal game here in our third quarter. Johnson, as one of the deep holes comes out on him. Wolfson tries to cut right. Very patient attack employed by Chris Spalding's Highlanders now. Oh, what a goal from distance! Wolfson ties it up at 5.
That was a perfect example of good one-on-one play. His teammates actually slid out of his way, so it was just him coming and had to beat his man. He got a free open hand, right hand, and drove in. He should have had some help sliding, but he did not.
Will, the junior now, 27 goals on the season. Make that 28th. So remember that second line scores. Max Parker appears to win another faceoff. No, that time it rolled a little too far.
And the long pole picked it up. Nicely done.
Reed McCool, who's got his first goal in the state championship game.
He gave it to his attack, and then he went down on the crease before he goes to the box to go off. He wanted to get it back.
Levine, boy, big collision in the center. That one nearly goes in off to the right side of the goal. Unsettled a little bit defensively, but keeping their shape were the Highlanders.
They got set back up and started playing the ball again, so they held it together.
Just the second shot this half by the Scots to the Highlanders. 6 shots on goal. We'll stay with St. Andrews. Coming up on 7 minutes to go, third quarter. These two teams were tied at 5 in their regular season meeting, and that's when the Scots began to pull away late.
And you notice the defenseman,
boy,
boom, shooting.
Big rip by Mahler. Scots keep possession.
You notice every time they come from the back, they're attacking the pipe, and the defensemen force them outside, and they have to pass it off. And that's at both ends of the field. The defenses are doing a terrific job.
Levine guarded by Sinton. Runs across the back. Looks to do the outside roll. Cannot. Comes all the way back out top. A turnover will roll all the way to the center. Race for the ball.
They want to lift sticks. Now you get a midi back. Ooh.
Oh, big hit along the near side. And Lake Highland Prep's got it. Don Eidson's been a beast. He runs off.
And that's when you're using that extra man that's on the field. That sideline is like an extra man. If you can push the guy out of bounds, you get the advantage.
Billy Roll, Connor Whipple, two of the more accomplished scorers in the state of Florida. Check that, in the nation. And now Roll has it. Got 2 in this one to Whipple's 1. Far side, Devin Lewis.
Both defenses stopping the attack from the back, attacking the pipe. So Whipple hasn't been too effective tonight. He only got a score when he went up top.
Lewis to an open man, a yard sale. Stick hits the ground, picked up by the Scots. That's Reed McCool doing his job again. Carrying it like a pizza box across the field.
Nice, settled, fast,
flips it
clear.
over to Gilden. Gilden runs off. And now they'll set up their offense as the midfielders trot back on.
Getting some good substitution in, getting ready. They're changing all 3, 4 mids, and even a long pole. Getting fresh legs on.
Levine behind the cage.
Good pick.
Shot right into the net of Sawicki, who was directing the defenders in front of him. Unsettled the other way for Lake Highland Prep. Nice dodge to the right side. Devin Lewis shoots and scores! Lake Highland leads by 1, 6-5. Lewis on the board for the first time.
And you notice Lewis drives across the top of the goal, gets his hands free, and makes a good right-hand shot. Driving, hands-free shot. Good job.
So Each of the future Georgetown Hoyas have scored once in this contest, and now Lake Highland has scored 3 unanswered to take a 1-goal lead. A titanic struggle of epic proportions building here in West Orange. Face-off win, Lake Highland Prep. Max Parker does it again. He'll shoot this time, taken down by 2 defenders. That one off the post. Whistle and stoppage.
Got a flag.
And Lake Highland appear to be going on the man up. See exactly what the ruling is.
I can't make out the signal.
See if somebody trots over to the box for the Scots. I don't believe so. So possession only now for the Highlanders.
They've got a locked-in penalty. Somebody's going in the box, and it's being locked in, which means he will not be released if the other team scores. When the official puts his hands above his head and puts the hands together, it's a locked-in penalty.
So it's Jake Vargas who picked up, and now we see him over there. And so an unreleasable penalty. And if you're Lake Highland Prep, you're trying to score as many goals as possible. It's like the one-up screen in a video game. Try to collect as many coins.
And let's remember, early in the game, neither team has taken advantage of this man up.
Now, Lounsbury was the one put in the box for the infraction. So 2 minutes now. Lake Highland to score as many goals as possible. If they can get one, that's a win. And a turnover, not what you want to do. Flung a little too far. And now St. Andrews can kill some time.
If they can take the ball down and hold it, they should move it around to X and hold it and try and run that penalty timeout.
So Lake Highland still on the man up, but they don't have possession. They're 1 of 3 tonight. Comes back to Echeverry. I'll put the high pressure on him. The Gilman all the way to the center. Who comes down with it? It's a battle along the 10-yard line. Picked up Stephen Real. And they'll waste some time.
So now St. Andrews has to kill some clock. They've got to get their man out of the penalty box. It's a non-releasable penalty. So they got to kill this clock and get even up on the field.
Short-handed are the Scots. Mahler gets pushed off.
He's getting doubled.
Double comes. Ball taken away. No, he comes out with it. Mahler shoots off of Sawicki. He'll be the closest to it. Lake Highland will get the ball back.
I'm not so sure that was a good idea to shoot. Coach wants you to hold the ball and run the timeout because now the ball's coming the other way and they're man down.
Sawicki with the long ball. Easily caught by Eidson. A little trot ahead as Reed McCool guards him with his long pole. Oh, McCool again. A sweet takeaway.
Long
Carries
pole
it in.
coming to goal.
Short-handed are the Scots. In front to Levine. Picked up by Lake Highland. Another tough pass, and it comes back to the Scots. Ping pong.
Good battle, guys. Oh.
Right in front. Big save, Sawicki. Wheeler thought he had his third. Still loose.
And we said at the beginning of the game, these goalies were going to make a lot of difference in this game. They're fantastic goalies, both ends of the field.
Point blank.
You can see the poise. He's hugging the pipe, waiting for the ball. Good job.
Fifth save by the junior who will be headed to Lehigh, already committed. Lehigh top 20 program this year.
No.
This should effectively kill off the penalty. And that one whipped out of bounds, so Lake Highland will get it back. Fans waiting to explode one more time. Down to 2:42 to go here in our third quarter. See Casey Irish, the future Terrier, along with Clay Phillips. Headed to Boston University next year. The fine senior class here for Chris Spalding. Got a whole ton of talent coming back, though, and it starts with the guy with the ball, Sawicki. Danny Sinton, the deep pull comes all the way up on the right flank. Now Billy Roll gets chased down, nearly has it checked away, gets rid of it just in the nick of time. And now Reed Thedford start things off. Now it goes behind, courtesy of Prizer. Some of the backups in now for Lake Highland Prep. Down to 2:07, third quarter. Highlanders up by 1.
They weren't able to capitalize on that man-up situation again.
Thedford and Phillips shoots it, and it will go. It will stay with Lake Highland. Good job by Devin Lewis to race to that end line. Billy Roll with it. Highland leads by 1. Now it's Lewis, cradles to the left. Richburg thought about the shot. Big defender made him change his mind. That was Jake Vargas, 6'4".
And they're pushing them out of the lane. They don't want them to come down on top of the goal, so you push them wide. Don't let them in toward the goal.
Devin Lewis with a little inside roll. Can't muster up anything as far as a shot. That one last touched. And it will stay with Lake Highland.
Both defenses doing a good job of pushing the ball outside of the lane, not letting them come straight down on top of their goalie. That cuts down the angle that the goalie has to protect and save.
Clay Phillips is escorted by Michael Armour, 6'2" senior defender. Now it's back up. Thedford now. Billy Roll rips it and goes for that upper left corner. Can't hit it. Still stays with the Highlanders as Richburg races to the corner.
Good ripping shot if that had been on frame.
Trying to beat Echeverry over that shoulder. Again, Wolfson. And that one's turned over. Trying to make the jailbreak. The Scots. Boy, nice move to clear himself as Barzokas. He's got it now. Alexander, big collision in front, ball on the ground.
He tried to squeak through 3 guys.
Scots come away with it. And escorted away was Real. Timeout called by the Scots and R.J. Dawson as his team trails by 1. 18.5 seconds left here in the state championship game, third quarter. See R.J. Dawson. Now this copyrighted broadcast is produced by Bright House Sports Network and is presented by authority of the Florida High School Athletic Association. This broadcast is intended solely for the private, non-commercial use of our audience. Any publication, reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this game without the expressed written consent of the Florida High School Athletic Association is prohibited. What are you saying in the huddle?
Well, for one, when you drive down and you got 3 guys come out on you, somebody else is open. Get your head up, pass the ball.
See R.J. Dawson, very confident individual, as he should be with the team he's got around him. Spent 2 seasons as the assistant and won the state championship a year ago. His first season, they lost it to these Highlanders on this field. And as we talked a little bit with Chris Spalding, that's an advantage. Mentally, you know you've won here.
Absolutely. And being closer to home, got a little bit of a home field advantage.
Ready for play. Fantastic crowd from both sides. Everybody in red. This is what you want as we continue to grow the sport of lacrosse in the state of Florida. Down to the final 15 seconds of this third quarter. Scott's trying to equalize here before the fourth. That one shot right at Sawicki. Gilman's it to the other end. Ball caught. Shot by Roll. My goodness. And time expires with that. How did he catch that ball?
Yeah, these are goalies trying to shoot on each other.
And the third quarter ends 6-5 the score. And I tell you what, I wouldn't miss the fourth quarter for anything. Neither would this young man. He's excited.
And
so the Billy Roll has got 2 goals. His team leads by 1 at the end of 3. We'll be back with the fourth and final quarter next.
The Bright House Sports Network Game of the Week is presented by Subway Restaurants. Right now at Subway Restaurants, get a 6-inch Black Forest ham sub for just $3. Subway, eat fresh.
We're a Gilman Pass west of downtown Orlando in Winter Garden, Florida. West Orange High School, Raymond Screws Field. And the crowd is on their feet for the fourth quarter. It's the 2013 Boys Lacrosse State Finals right here on Bright House Sports Network, and he's back. Everybody's excited tonight. We go into the fourth and final with Lake Highland leading it by 1-6-5 and a face-off win for St. Andrews. Ball kicked, and it does all for naught. Got into the back, and will come with Lake Highland prep off the push. Lake Highland wearing red, now going from right to left with the lead here in our fourth. These two teams have met for the state championship in each of the last 3 years. Met earlier this season, a 10-5 win in Boca by the Scots. In a game that was a lot closer than the final scoreline.
I can only imagine the coach told him to hold the ball a little bit and go get a goal when we want it.
Jackson Colling in there off the bench for Chris Spalding. Now Devin Lewis has it.
That's definitely what's going on. They're going to take their time and look for an opportunity. No rush. They're up by 1 point. Let's hold the ball and go get a goal as we want it.
Well, Wolfson, guarded by Reed McCool, has had an excellent game defensively and offensively. Colling. He cuts back in on the left. Colling pulled out, gives it a rip along the ground, and nice shot on goal. Lake Highland will keep possession.
Very good offense. Ball moving around well, controlling it, waiting for their opportunity.
Oh, a turnover will roll all the way to the center. Battle for the loose ball in front of our broadcast position. And Lake Highland has it for the time being. Ground ball again. Who wants it? Hackett going along, and a red jersey comes out. Colling once again, and he goes to the turf. Keeps his feet, comes back out. Ben Prizer now races to the far side. Again, McCool on him.
Both teams doing a good battle going on, but Lake Highland settling down, showing some class action here, looking for their opportunity.
Lake Highland Prep looking for their second state championship. Bounce shot on Colling. It's off the mark.
Good
the
shot.
Highlanders will keep it.
Good shot to take when you're backed up. You know, might go in, and if it doesn't, you're backed up, so you're going to get the ball back.
See Echeverry's backing in, holding his ground. And a foul. Boy, flags flying everywhere. Get this one sorted out.
Both teams are still attacking pipe without any success. They get turned outside. But we got a penalty on that one, probably a slash. I didn't see it. So we're going to go
Two of our
man up.
referees saw it.
Yes.
Flags ripped high in the sky. Limping off, you just saw there, Lounsbury. He was the guilty party. Looks on his knees, so it is a man up for Lake Highland Prep. Vargas on his knees in the penalty box. So
now let's remember 5 previous man up opportunities with both teams have not made a goal.
Lake Highland 1 for 4 on the man up. St. Andrews 0 for 2. Boy, ripped from distance by Johnson. Lake Highland keeps it, 9:24 to go. A 1-goal game here in our state championship boys final. Same 2 teams we've seen the last 4 years now. Playing catch, Devin Lewis.
Definitely moving the ball well.
Wolfson back up top. Wolfson thought about the shot. Long pull out on him to guard.
St. Andrews is pressing the ball even though they're man down. That's pretty good play.
Jason Weprin got out there in time. Whipping it behind the cage. Bounce shot and won by Billy Roll. No. Long pole's got the advantage. Checked from behind, and it will stay with Lake Highland Prep. Some boos
Just
from
couldn't quite get a handle on it. Just roll over the line.
So Conlon O'Hara couldn't win it before it crossed, and we're even as far as the penalty. It has expired, and a win, if you will, for the Scots, who didn't allow another goal. But they still trail by 1 here in our 4th quarter. Plenty of time.
Staying on his front, good checks.
Ryan Johnson, and checked by McCool. Has to give it up. Reversing his field on the far side was Richborg. Boy, nice move. Cuts in towards the crease, still has it. Tries to get it free, shoots and scores! Clay Phillips, or Richborg rather.
And that was all individual effort. You noticed how he drove against the long pole. You see him come in the pipe. You'll notice he drives inside of that long pole and then gets his back against him and turns and places the ball.
Kyle Richborg would not be denied, and now it's 7-5. Lake Highland Prep on Richborg's 19th goal of the season. Just a sophomore, earned his starting spot midway through the season, did Kyle. Good slash-type player, was good in transition. Another face-off win by Max Parker, flips it over, has it checked out. Ball still in the air. Boy, these 2 teams going to battle.
We got a break on goal.
The
Looking
Scots.
for a shot.
A shot and a score, and there's the answer from Andy Wheeler. He's got a hat trick.
And that's what lacrosse is, unsettled situations, and that's exactly what that was. He got through, stepped in, even had 2 men in front of him, but ripped in a nice shot from right in front of the goal.
So just under the 8-minute mark, we're back to a 1-goal game as the Scots continue to answer.
And that's the lane we're talking about. A coach will tell you, don't let the guys down the center lane. The goalie has too much to protect when he's directly in front of the goal.
And those unsettled situations are what have kept the Scots in this game.
Absolutely.
On the break, they have been deadly.
And that's what lacrosse is, a game full of unsettled situations. Every time the ball's on the ground or there's a check,
Mahler able to cover that time. Parker will run off, and now the Scots with a chance to tie things up. In front, moving quick. Shot bounces past Sawicki as Bartzokis gave it a whirl. See the St. Andrews fans wearing white. Down to 7:40 on a turning clock. St. Andrews trailing by 1. These schools know each other well, not just on the lacrosse field, but in basketball as well. Lake Highland won a state championship on the basketball court in Lakeland against these Scots. These two teams used to filling up stadiums and arenas against each other.
Isolation might try a one-on-one. You notice all the players go to the backside pipe.
Jake Levine, the shifty lefty.
There's a good pick.
In front. And another shot and another score. Wheeler's got another one, and we're tied at 7.
And that was a beautiful play, and that all started with the pick up top. And the pick up top gave the guy a loose to run down toward the pipe, and as the defense slid out on him, he fed a guy right on the crease. And the guy turned around and put it in the goal.
4 has 40 and 4 in this game to match his jersey. Andy Wheeler be headed to Rutgers next fall. An All-American for St. Andrews and looking all the part now. Fastest player on the team.
Great ball movement.
Big face-off now, and Lake Highland's got it.
Got a fast break, moves it to the point. They bounce out and don't take advantage of the fast break.
Slowing it down. We're tied at 7. 6:43 on a turning clock. This game has been as good as advertised. Richborg had the last goal for Lake Highland. This time gets escorted out of the crease area. Tries to use that speed and quick change of direction. He'll give up the ball. Back up top, Ryan Johnson. He's guarded by Mahler. Johnson goes left. Behind the cage, Lewis turns around and he scores! Lewis has 2 goals, and Lake Highland Prep leads it by 2. By 1 rather, 8-7.
And that was a great attack on the pipe. He comes around and just gets a step and does a sidearm with his stick in front of the goal. So it's got a little bit of an advantage on the plane of the goal and gets it in the back of the net. Nice job. The only way a defenseman can defend about that is turning back or put him outside of the lane. And they did neither that time.
Each team has scored twice in this 4th quarter. And a face-off win by Mahler picks it up. It would be a good time for the Scots to even up that face-off stat. Their 5th win and second in the last 3rd face-off. Max Parker has gotten the better of Mahler most of the night, but now is when the chips are down. Devin Lewis gives the Highlanders a 1-goal lead. Now down close to 5.5 to go. Wheeler with 4 goals already. Uses that speed. Gets checked away, gives it up to the open man. This is Levine. He shoots and rips it wide. It will stay with the Scots.
And they worked across the top to get that shot from in the lane. Just didn't get it on frame.
Oh, high ball, gonna roll all the way to the sideline. Who picks it up? Lake Highland Prep. And the fans give a loud cheer in front of us. It is nail-biting time. We're getting awfully close to it, John.
Out of bounds on a pass. That's an easy way to get a ball back.
So, costly turnover on the Scots. See Devin Lewis there. This will be his final high school game. Lewis behind the cage. He's got Billy Roll with him. Sets a pick. Roll.
late in the game, and these defensemen are still doing a great job. Aggressively on the players. The attackmen still aren't having any chance to attack the pipe and come up top side from the back.
Roll guarded by McCool behind the cage. Here's Ryan Johnson. Carries with the left. Now back to Ben Prizer. As you see Alexander Bartzokis going out to cover him. Prizer not nearly the threat of some of his teammates. We'll give him some space to work. Here comes the pick. Runs right through it. There's Bartzokis. Here's Billy Roll.
Tried to use that pick, and the other team sent a second man, so it didn't work.
4 minutes to go in our 2013 State Boys Lacrosse Championship. Lake Highland by 1. Ryan Johnson. Guarded by Gilden. Comes all the way back out with it. Now Clay Phillips. Phillips has yet to score.
Well, Lake Highland's actually holding the ball a little bit, kind of pacing themselves. They're not in a rush here. With the 3 minutes, they want to get a goal at their leisure. They're up by 1.
Flipped over to Prizer. We'll waste a little bit more time. Bartzokis chases him.
St. Andrews is going to have to start getting the ball, and now they're doing it. They're sending a second man.
And R.J. Dawson going to call a timeout. Well, just 2011 on this field. Will St. Laurent walks off in victory, make that a run. Gave Lake Highland Prep the 11-10 victory, and that went down in history. Lake Highland Prep, their first ever state championship. That again just 2 years ago against the St. Andrews Scots, and this is going to be shaping up to perhaps one of those one-goal games as we're down to 3:15. Jeff Radcliffe, John Drehoff, what do you see here in this last few minutes?
Well, a lot of battle right now. I know the coaches are telling them they have to go get the ball. St. Andrews can't afford to leave them holding the ball. They're running out of clock. So St. Andrews, I'm sure, is going to have to go pressure the ball and even double it if possible.
And that's exactly what Chris Spalding is telling his team. They felt they expended way too much energy in the semifinal a year ago against Ponte Vedra. Didn't have much left. They got off to a nice start in the championship game in Port St. Lucie, but ran out of gas as the second half belonged to the Scots, and they won it 16-10. Could they trade state championships again this year? They've alternated the last 3.
Both teams are looking really good. Neither one is showing any fatigue. So you got still 3 minutes of great lacrosse going on.
Fantastic crowd here at Raymond Screws Field. We're at West Orange High School in Winter Garden. They start things back up. Devin Lewis. Devin Lewis spins off. And Jackson Colling back in there for Coach Spalding. Gives it back to Wolfson.
And the
2 players on him.
I'm sure the coach has told him, move the ball, and move your feet. Don't let them come out. Now you see St. Andrews is having to double the ball. They're trying to get it back.
Lewis, nice dodge. Lewis back behind the cage one more time to Wolfson. And now Colling with it, the midfielder.
It's going to be tough to kill 2.5 minutes, but that's basically what they're working on.
And when you have accomplished stick skill guys, and as soon as I say that, the ball hits the ground and it's picked up with 2:21 to go. And we have another timeout. So the Scots able to wrestle the ball back.
Now realize Lake Highland Prep, since they're the team up, it's 2:16 right now. When they get down to the 2-minute mark, they will have to keep the ball in the box. So that gives St. Andrews a little bit of an advantage defending, because all they have to do is get the guy out of the box and it turns over possession back to them.
So when you say inside the box, you're talking about the restraining box, and unlike college, there's not necessarily a timer, but it's just at the very end of the game. This is the rule they make.
Well, it is a timer, as in the last 2 minutes of the game, they have to keep attacking from within the box. So if you can force your man outside of the box, a step, anything, the ball turns over.
Lake Highland went through Boone, West Orange, Lake Brantley, and Haggerty to get here to Winter Garden. They beat Ponte Vedra yesterday. You see the Scots took out Boca Raton and Wellington Community, then at Pinecrest a nice win, then at Columbus, and then beat Benjamin rather convincingly last night in the rain. And it's been a dry sky tonight and a perfect Chamber of Commerce night in Winter Garden for the state lacrosse final. A one-goal contest as night has descended here in Central Florida.
Been a really great contest, and 2 minutes left. Let's see what happens.
You're watching the 2013 Boys Lacrosse State Finals on Bright House Sports Network. It's Lake Highland and St. Andrews. I'm Jeff Radcliffe, joined by John Drehawk, as always, and our entire Bright House Sports Network crew. And we're just as excited as you are to bring it to you, as you guys are to watch, whether it's on your DVR or live. Thanks for joining us. 2:16 to play. St. Andrews down by 1. And they've got the ball.
And Highland's doing a good job of pressuring, trying to make them not clear.
Wheeler splits the defense. Remember, he's got 4 goals so far. Could he be the guy that equalizes for the Scots?
And he's going all the way down.
Gets pushed down and taken away. Lake Highland Prep, no call. Eidson has it, dodges to the right, crosses the midfield line, and now they can waste some time.
But he's got to stay in the box.
In front, boy, what a crazy pass. And somehow getting out of there, bowling ball. As pins are falling everywhere wearing red.
Well, there was
Richburg, boy, whoo.
Three St. Andrews guys attacking the ball because they know they have to get it back. They can't let Lake Highland keep the ball because they've got to go score.
Watch the pass by Eidson, and somehow he kept that in the cross to Richburg. I mean, check after check, then roll falls on him. I have a feeling, and we've got 1:47 left, John. I don't think we've seen the end of the physical play in this one.
Oh, no.
Another timeout as Spalding talks things over. St. Andrews 20-3 on the season. All 3 losses have come to out-of-state teams.
Well, you know Coach Spalding is saying, boys, there it is, less than 2 minutes. All we have to do is keep possession, and you've got possession right now. Can you move your feet?
And there is what goes to the winner, to the victor, the spoils, and the spoils of that trophy that will sit in your gym or your trophy case for a long time. And everybody can say, remember when, remember that team back in 2013. One of these 2 teams will very deservedly win a state championship tonight. Lake Highland this year, 19-5 coming in. Couple of blemishes on the record. They played a national schedule once again. Didn't lose to anybody in Central Florida. Hurt them on the record, but they cruised through to get here. And their fans are fired up. They can feel it. Could a championship be coming back to downtown Orlando off of Highland Avenue? Like to hang another banner in that gym. Of course, they won a basketball title this year, a state wrestling title as well. It could be the year of the Highlander.
Now can the Highlanders keep possession? St. Andrews has to go after him and get the ball back. They can run and pass and keep possession, kill the last 2 minutes.
Devin Lewis gives it up. Richburg's got it. We got 90 seconds to play in this 2013 state championship. Ball on the ground, going to be picked up by Roll. Disaster averted. Roll has it.
Remember, they have to also stay in the box. They don't have as much room to run. That's one of the reasons they're back at X. They're trying to stay behind the goal area, so if they give it up, it will stay in the back.
Ball on the ground. Who's going to keep it? And guess what? The Scots have it back with 1:04.
And that's lots of time. They got plenty of time with a full minute. Running it up the field rather than passing it. I'm not sure that's the best thing
Clay
in the world.
Phillips tries to escort him out of bounds. It doesn't happen. There's Bartzokis. Leaves it off to Wheeler, who's scored 4 times so far. Can he be the hero to tie things up?
Now let's see if this defense still has enough legs to be in it. Press them. Don't let them get a goal.
They're going to use the entire clock, it looks like. Jake Levine loses his stick. Somebody does. That was a defender. Ball in front. A race to the line. Sawicki gets there first. Or was it touched?
No, it says off the hand. We're looking for a signal.
Spalding wants the signal.
They get to keep it. St. Andrews.
St. Andrews has it. Down to 24 seconds. Behind the net. Whipple in front. Picked up by Lake Highland Prep. No. Now they've got it. Big hit along the sideline. Still battling. 12 seconds to go. Down to 10. Jacob Brantley heads got it. Players are down on the far side. Clock is stopped with 8.5 seconds left.
8 seconds. I would go press the ball. Don't give anybody a shot. Press the ball. Even double it.
Down to 3. Ball on the ground. Shot saved. Sawicki. And Lake Highland Prep has won the state title. Their second in school history. 8-7 the final.
Wow, what a fantastic game, folks.
Equipment litters the field, and they're going crazy. Here in Winter Garden, Lake Highland Prep, the 2013 Boys Lacrosse State Championship, and nobody can take it away. The seniors, Billy Rowe, Clay Phillips, Devin Lewis, Casey Irish going out on top. That's 2 in 3 years. And another titanic struggle between these two familiar rivals, the Scots and the Highlanders. Wow.
Wow is probably an understatement. That was terrific lacrosse tonight. Nip and tuck all the way.
See Phillips and company coming over to greet their supporters. Hitting the fence. And the crowd did their job tonight, cheering their guys to victory. We got a little Lambeau leap action, so this will be the Raymond Screws jump. And like they did 2 seasons ago, they win it here in Winter Garden.
Absolutely.
And what did it for them? The face-offs or just playing the defense here in that 4th quarter?
I would say across the board, everybody played so hard that if I had to pick one thing out, I would say defensively the team was outstanding. The goalie was really good, and they pressed out. That you never saw them get tired. They were pressing the offense. It was very infrequent that St. Andrews got to attack the pipe and get a shot on the goal. All the shots had to come from up top.
And if you're the Scots, you cannot repeat this time, and things have evened up a little bit. As Lake Highland starting to catch up now with their 2nd title. See Chris Spalding. So if you're the Scots, is there anything that you look back on that maybe you should have done a little better?
Well, no. When they're 1 point difference in a game that was fought this hard by both teams, there's no glaring error you can pick out. Very few of them were in the penalty box, either team. Just good lacrosse.
Well, the Highlanders win this titanic struggle to capture their 2nd state title. John, been a pleasure.
Been a pleasure, too. Thanks,
Talk
Jeff.
to you again soon and have another fine season next year on Bright House Sports Network. And so the lacrosse season ends. For my partner, John Drehoff, our producer, Jeremy Swenson, our director, Dan Robertson, and our incomparable Bright House Sports Network crew, I'm Jeff Radcliffe, saying so long from Winter Garden. The Highlanders dance to a state title, their 2nd, 8-7, the final over the St. Andrews Scots. Good night from Winter Garden.